Okay, pay attention very closely. I'm going to have to talk fast in this video in order to be able to disclose as many details as I possibly can. Now, my fellow American citizens, when it comes to the crime of gang stalking does many crimes that they know that the victim cannot prove. Gang stalking will also use a lot of deceit and massive amounts of trickery in order to bait the victim mentally into believing certain things are being done through people when it's actually being done through technology that cannot be recorded, including voice to skull, including ELF broadcasting. Now, I know from educated knowledge on the internet, at least educated knowledge on the internet, that when they try to use holosonics in order to make you believe certain things are being done through people when it's actually nothing but recordings projected through holosonics. I know that holosonics can be recorded because I've literally caught it on at least 10 separate audio files at a specific wooded area. That's not what this particular video is about. But what I want to introduce you to here is something for you to consider and consider well. Consider this carefully. 1. Gang stalking is widely, massively reported by tens of thousands of victims. Okay, doctors, researchers, professors, and more. That part of this crime is to intentionally label gang stalking victims as being a threat to themselves or others, mentally ill, and or can't take care of themselves, which is done for a whole slew of different for different criminal reasons. But one of those reasons is to discredit the victim on paper in case the victim becomes a whistleblower, whether that victim has evidence or not. Because you got to remember, there's other crime motivations connected to gang stalking where they then fall back on those illegal, criminally falsified mental health diagnoses, which is literally it's one of the biggest parts of gang stalking crimes, actually, to intentionally label a gang stalking victim as having a mental illness of any sort, any mental diagnosis that they falsely put on the victim. Basically, they just reach into their little hat and say, what slip of paper can we pick out that will describe the mental illness that we want to put on this guy and that girl or that woman or whatever. So research my statements to gang stalking, and you will see that the psychiatric reprisal and criminally falsely diagnosing gang stalking victims with a whole slew of different types of false mental diagnoses pertaining to their mental health is one of the biggest reported crimes connected to this crime. With that being said, then a gang stalking victim, any gang stalking victim, can look for clever ways to expose the truth without necessarily claiming that this truth directly applies to them and any of their experiences connected to this crime. Always remember what I just stated a second ago. They will intentionally label you as being mentally ill when they know that you're not. And that's done for many motivations, but that's not what this video is about. I did bring it up and to the attention of this video, though, because what you're about ready to hear from this audio file, and then what you're about ready to hear me state first, well, needs to be said carefully. You can always read between the lines and ask yourself, I wonder who she's really talking about. Do you understand? Listen and listen carefully. One of the main things connected to gang stalking is a technique called anchoring, where these 6 satanic, mass-murdering, filthy, criminally insane, depraved, demented, psychopathic, murdering, criminally insane, wild, maggot, ratus animal whores who host this crime, and that's not all they are, trust me. And if you think that's strong language, let me tell you something. I have literally seen scientists and doctors call these people the most demonic, criminally insane, wild animals that have ever walked this planet. I have literally seen professors and scientists and doctors call them this. So if you think my language is strong, trust me when I say this type of language is being used because it is the closest language. And trust me, there's other statements that can be said as well concerning them. That comes to the closest description of what these filthy whores are. And I am referring to the host of this crime. By the way, the most implicated host of this crime is, but obviously not limited to, the DOD, the DIA, the NSA, the CIA, all alphabet agencies, state, county, and local police. So, let me give you a hint about the trickery connected to gang stalking. Gang stalking will attempt to create visual and auditory brain entrainment in any and all victims that it can, and it will absolutely use the criminal community-based harassment connected to gang stalking, which is where the community is brought on board in order so that community members can be propped up directly around the victim so that they can then apply certain gang stalking techniques around the victim concerning the victim, forcing the victim to either see and or hear it. And then sometimes they can also use community members in order to stage an event directly towards the victim. Everything is denied concerning the persons used and the places that they're used at. The police are nothing but 100% organized crime criminals when it comes to this crime, no matter what they think, feel, or say about my statements or this crime in general. They're nothing but criminal liars. Google them to gang stalking, because I just don't give a shit concerning reporting these wild horrors. Oh, absolutely. So check this out. So since gang stalking is, a lot of this crime is based on lies, okay, covert collusion, technology, and much more, they will literally try to achieve many aspects of auditory and visual entrainment can take place by and through remote neural monitoring, manipulating the visual and audio cortex while the victim's awake and even when they're sleeping. Go to Google and research electronic synthetic dreams and remote neural monitoring and gang stalking. So that right there, just in itself, hold on, will immediately educate you about the fact that remote technology is being affected upon, non-consensually upon, the gang stalking victim's neurological and biological systems in order to remotely neurally interface with specific neurological and biological systems of the victim, so that, in part, some of the features and functions of these technologies can induce traumatic, not just traumatic brain injury and all the other health effects that it can absolutely and does absolutely intentionally affect, but it can also manipulate the brain neurologically, forcing the brain to process whatever is sent to the visual and auditory cortex while the victim is asleep and or awake. Now, this is done to assist in the creation of false visual memories. It's done to affect the unconscious, subconscious, preconscious, and conscious states. It's done for visual and auditory entrainment, and it's done to assist in same. So that's just some of the features of remote neural monitoring. Then you got voice to skull, ELF broadcasting, holosonics, the audio spotlight that these criminals are criminally using, in order to assist them in achieving certain specific types of auditorial resonance brain entrainment. And that also can include, obviously, ultrasonic sound bone conduction. So here's the meat and potatoes. Check this out, baby. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pick up something in my immediate environment. Give me a second. Seconds up. Now, I just picked up this little doodad here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to go like this. So listen carefully. Okay? Imagine you taking a small itty bitty wooden, small itty bitty metal pipe, okay, and then tapping it twice on another metal object, or like let's say you take a metal pipe and you just tap it twice on the bicycle, the bicycle tire rim, the back bicycle tire rim of a bicycle. You're gonna hear a clinking, click, click. Now, what's being reported concerning what these satanic rats have done or can do around a gang stalking victim is apply an anchoring to a sound. It's already all over the internet that through anchoring and the sensitization method of gang stalking and dark neural linguistic programming techniques, DNLP, and then, of course, by the use of the aforementioned technologies, they can pretty much anchor anything in the gang stalking victim's mind and apply an alternate meaning to that specific act and or whatever is perpetrated. So let me give you an example. Say if you're standing outside of a grocery store and some homeless dum-dum who's being used in the crime goes and parks their bike right 10 feet away from a gang stalking victim. And then they sit there and they got a small football in their hand. And what they're doing is throwing it up in the air just in the perfect way so that when it goes up in the air about maybe 1-2 feet, it then lands on the foot of the person who's throwing it. When it lands on the foot, it makes a clicking sound, okay? Like it's almost like a clapping sound. Then when it hits the foot, it gets kicked back up in the hands, and then when the hands catch it, it makes the second clapping type sound. So it would be like this. The foot catching the, oh, hold on. The foot catching the football sounds like this. Or better yet, let me do it on this. Just hear me out. So the foot catching the football, so it can be kicked back up to the hand, sounds like this. And then when he catches it with the hand, it sounds like this. But it's done really fast, so the bangs sound like this almost. Okay? Now, while the victim is hearing this, that's standing 10 feet away, every single time that repeated clapping sound occurs, okay, the word suck dick is transmitted into the audio cortex of the gang stalking victim by using voice to skull. Okay? Then, let's just say it happens again 2-3 more times, and then about 2 weeks later, the same victim's at the same store, and a guy goes into the store, and he comes back out, and he buys a pack of cigarettes. So do you know how sometimes when you buy a pack of cigarettes and they're brand spanking new, and you can take them and you bang them up against your hand in order to pack the tobacco within the cigarette itself? A lot of people do that. So they buy a pack of cigarettes and they'll stand outside the store and they'll go like this. They'll go like this, acting like they're packing the cigarettes. So that's another double tap. Okay? So they're taking the edge of the cigarette pack and they're pounding it into the palm of their other hand under the normal appearing excuse for packing the cigarettes, which a lot of smokers do. They buy a new pack of cigarettes and they take the cigarette pack and they turn it upside down, and then they bang it up against the palm of their other hand twice. And it makes that clapping type sound twice. So another person goes into a store about 2 weeks later after this football thing happened through a homeless guy. And another guy comes out of the store and he stands 10 feet away from the same victim, and he's he's doing that thing with the cigarette pack. And every time he does the click click, that victim is hearing suck dick. The first click of packing the cigarettes, suck. The second click of the pack, dick. Suck dick. So, let me put the phone down just for a second so I can show you something. So the phone is now down, and what I'm going to do is pick up this pack of cigarettes. In fact, I got a brand new pack here that's completely full, so you can hear the accurate sound of a full pack of cigarettes being packed in your hand when you're banging it in your hand in your palm. So this is what it sounds like. Okay? So the first tap, suck. Second tap, dick. But the taps are very close together. Suck dick. Suck dick. So when the taps are happening is when the victim is hearing suck dick in their head through voice to skull. And they are in direct sync with the tap. Now, a particular victim that I might be aware of endured this at a grocery store through 2 separate people and through that tech. Now, did that particular victim make a statement about it in their tape recorder cleverly? Remember, if this crime hears you saying that you're enduring something like this, it will look for a normal appearing excuse to say they know where your videos are at, use them against you in court to lock you up for legal probate control schemes, for racketeering schemes, and insurance fraud schemes. It's one of the biggest things gang stalking crimes are directly connected to. So if you are a victim and you would experience something like this, what the crime is doing is that it's anchoring 2 methodologies. It's using a sound stimuli in the environment, and then what it's doing is it's sending B2K in a synchronized way so that the victim hears suck dick in their audio cortex through B2K when that person packs that cigarette. When that person does the thump on their palm with the cigarettes, pretending like they're just packing them. Now, what you got to understand about gang stalking is that a huge, huge aspect of their many crimes that they perpetrate is done down to the millisecond. Because you got to remember, the person who's coming into the store, buying the cigarettes and coming out and packing them in their hands like that is a timed, synchronized, propped up, staged event. The voice to skull perpetration, so it occurs right at that second when he's doing that, is a timed, meticulously timed, synchronized, staged event reference to the tapping of the cigarettes. Literally. As bad as this sounds. So consider this. Am I aware of a gang stalking victim who endured this and then creatively made some verbal notes about it in their tape recorder in the past 4 months? Now, did this possible same victim go to a laundromat. Let's see, when was it? 2 days ago. And as they were in the laundromat, standing there waiting to do their laundry, guess what was heard? So I want you to listen to this, and I want you to listen to this well. Because what you're about ready to see here is an electronic time and date stamp of this audio file after you hear it. In fact, the date of it is right there. Okay, let's see. What do we got? No, is that the date? Because I'm still getting familiar with this tape recorder. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll play you this part of this audio file. This is a victim being in the U City laundromat off of Govan Road and Genesee Avenue. So when I turn it on, you're gonna. All right, hold on a second.
Last couple of nights. Last night, the second night.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong tape recorder. I got 2 tape recorders. Bear with me. This is one that I use. This is one that I use to tape audio files from YouTube videos, so I can listen to them when I ain't doing nothing. And this is the one that I carry on my person every day. Now you can see right there that this audio file is from September 9th, 2021. Today's date is September 10th, 2021. It's been fast forwarded to a specific time within this audio file. Now, so I'm going to turn it up, so you're going to see it's turned all the way up to the highest amount of volume that it can get to. And then as soon as it goes back to where it's at right now, because it only takes a second for it to toggle back after you press the volume key. It only takes a second to toggle back. I'm going to press this play button. And what you want to be listening for is you want to listen for a clicking sound, tap, tap. And within about 2-3 seconds, you're going to hear a male say, suck dick. Okay, so you ready? So I'm going to press play. Let me set it right here. All right, hold on a second. Let me set it right here, so I can try and keep the tape recorder audio file as it's playing within full view. Because you got to remember, I got to put the microphone of this phone up next to this tape recorder. Is going to be thrown way over here. Okay, it's thrown way to my left. Okay, so this tape recorder, when I press this play button right here, the speaker of it is down here, and the speaker of the phone is down in the right corner. So I'm going to try and see if I can situate it to where I can press play, have the microphone on the speaker, and it doesn't look like the camera lens is going to allow me to still show you, okay, the top of the tape recorder, just because of the way it is. But you're going to hear it. And then as soon as you hear it, because I'll be able to hear it too, what I'll do is I'll then go back and rewind it and play it in full view so you can see it's from this tape recorder. Okay? And then I'm going to go and toggle into a feature that shows you the date right out in the open. Okay? So I want you to listen closely to this. Listen closely.
I'm just messing with you, sweetie. Oh, I better hurry up and grab that washer before they do. Oh! Hey, kiddo, can I put my card here, please? Thank you, I appreciate that. Black and white shoes. Oh, you're green and white shoes. Okay, yeah.
There you go. Okay? Now, you should also know the homeless man, and then the one I was telling you about a minute ago about the grocery store, who was propped up 10 feet away from this particular gang stalking victim, was also wearing black and white. And the guy that stood around the same victim about 3 weeks later and was packing his cigarettes, he was also wearing black and white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind this, because color coding is directly connected to gang stalking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind this. Now, what you should know is that this gang stalking victim that I'm referring to, when this other stuff, I got to say things carefully. Remember what I talked about at the beginning of this video? When this other stuff was propped up, did they cleverly make a statement in their tape recorder about the experience? Meaning that, I wonder if it's possible for a person to make a tapping sound, and when the tapping sound is going on, voice to skull is transmitting to that victim, suck dick. Tap, tap, suck dick. But the suck dick is being said as the tap is occurring, in sync with the first tap, suck, the second is tap, dick. Now, that person made a statement in their tape recorder over 4 months ago about this occurring around them at a grocery store. 4 months later, do they catch it at a laundromat? Let's listen to it again. I gotta hurry up because I'm running out of video time.
So I was wondering if you could take me to Walmart. I'm just messing with you, sweetie. Oh, I better hurry up and grab that washer before they do. Oh! Hey, kiddo, can I put my card here, please? Thank you, I appreciate that. Black and white shoes. Oh, you're gray and white shoes. Okay, yeah.
There it goes. So, my fellow American citizens, do you really think a person can make a statement in their tape recorder 4 months about something like that possibly going on at a grocery store and then catch it 4 months later in a fucking laundromat? Except it wasn't done through voice to skull, it was done through a physical person. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, everybody. Gang stalking is a bitch when you prove it. Have a good day, everybody.